the Oklahoma Newsroom. This is an OU update. I'm Jenny Carlson here in studio. The NFL Combine has wrapped up in Indianapolis, and lots of Sooners there, but one in particular, Ryan Aber, OU beat writer, that drew a lot of attention, that being Kyler Murray. We knew that he was going to be a source of much interest, but he didn't do a lot, but he was the source of much interest, Ryan. What's the latest with him? Well, I mean, what he did was answer the questions that a lot of people had, which were about his size, his measurables. He got measured at a little over 5'10", 5'10 and an eighth, weighed in at 207 pounds, which was bigger than I think a lot of people anticipated, even after he said he was in that 205 to 208 range last Saturday at the Lloyd Noble Center when he was there for OU Texas. But just those two numbers alone, I think, alleviated a lot of NFL executives' fears about him. It's been less and less of an issue to be a short quarterback in the NFL, but if you're shorter historically than anybody else has been, that's going to give a lot of executives pause, and he was in a range that's right around Russell Wilson and other short quarterbacks. Yeah, so even though he didn't grow, I mean, it wasn't like he miraculously sprouted up. This is what he was, but yet it now sounds like that hesitation on him may have evaporated to the point that he might go #1. I mean, it sounds like Arizona and their new coach, Kliff Kingsbury, are seriously looking at this, Ryan. Yeah, when Kliff Kingsbury got hired with the Arizona Cardinals, everybody dug up that clip from, I believe it was October, right around the time OU and Texas Tech played, and he said, if I had the #1 pick, I would take Kyler Murray. Of course, at that time, he's the coach of Texas Tech, and you think he might get fired, which he did after the season, and there's no way he'd be coaching the NFL. Well, he's coaching the NFL a few months later as the head coach of the team with the #1 pick. And what Kyler Murray is as a quarterback is what Kliff Kingsbury wants to have in his quarterback in the NFL. That's his system. He's going to stick with that. They did pick Josh Rosen last year with the #10 overall pick, but there's a lot of talk that they could move Josh Rosen in order to pick Kyler Murray. And in fact, the NFL Network said it's become almost a universal opinion among NFL executives that the Arizona Cardinals are going to do just that. You never know exactly what's going to happen in the NFL. A lot of times people will say things to sort of throw up smoke screens, but the momentum appears to be building for Kyler Murray as a top pick. Okay, before we go to other Sooners at the Combine, Pro Day for Oklahoma coming up in about 10 days, March 13th. What do we expect Kyler Murray to do? Has there been any indication? And what does he need to do? I mean, there's obviously great film out there on him, and now that these execs have these measurables, what exactly does he need to do? Well, just show them that he can still make those throws, even with the added bulk on his frame. He's added about 10 pounds since the end of last year. I think that's the biggest thing. He's going to run, so show off that speed again, that it hasn't decreased with the added bulk in the frame, or hasn't decreased much. Obviously, it'll play a little bit of a role, but those are the big things. The biggest thing for Kyler Murray right now is going to be which NFL team is going to take a chance on him after seeing what he can do on the field, because there's some that will still be scared off by the measurables, but all it takes is one to convince that you're the guy, and clearly there's more than one franchise that really likes Kyler Murray right now. But those are the biggest things. Kyler Murray said he's going to do it all at Pro Day, so we're going to see the range from him. But it's going to be certainly a big-time circus, probably as big as we've seen at a Pro Day, at least since Sam Bradford. And we saw a big one there for Baker Mayfield just a year ago. Yeah. But, yeah, a lot of people will be in Norman for that. Okay, let's quickly talk about, I mentioned other Sooners were at the Combine, and there were several. Anybody sort of making a buzz in Indianapolis this last week? Well, I think you look at the offensive line and look at what Cody Ford was able to do. The numbers weren't just over the top. The bench press number wasn't good at all. I think it was 19. He had a little bit of a shoulder issue as he was doing the bench press. He'll do that again at Pro Day, and we would expect to see some improvement there. But Cody Ford is gaining momentum as a mid to early first-round pick, so he could be off the board relatively quickly as well. A guy that I thought really showed out well outside of that
was Drew Samia. His bench press numbers were outstanding, did some solid things. He's not going to be a first couple rounds guy, but he's a guy who has a chance to make an impact in the NFL long term.
All right, we've got a lot more Sooner coverage coming up in the next couple weeks. I mentioned Pro Day on March 13th. We'll have that this week. Spring ball starts, so we'll have a lot of coverage leading up to that. Ryan's been profiling each of the position groups, so you want to catch up on who's out, who's in, who's going to be looked at this spring. Be sure to check that out. And be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoman.